If a child tells you the truth, and that truth doesn't fit the story you've already decided about them, do you protect your authority, or do you protect the child? That question didn't arrive loudly. It didn't announce itself. It crept into the halls of Marowick Preparatory the way assumptions always do, quietly, confidently, and without permission. Kalin Row was 10 years old and already careful with his words. He sat near the window in room 214, where the sunlight hit his desk just right in the mornings. He liked that spot because it helped him think. When things were quiet, he could focus. When things were loud, he could disappear into his work. The assignment written on the board was simple. Write about what your parent or guardian does for a living. Be ready to share. Around him, chairs scraped, whispers floated. My aunt owns a salon. My dad fixes elevators. My mum works at the courthouse. Kalin didn't say anything. He bent over his notebook and began to write slowly, pressing his pencil just hard enough to feel grounded. My father builds companies, he wrote, then paused. At home, his father never talked about titles, never talked about numbers. He talked about responsibility, about how money wasn't power unless it was used to protect something vulnerable. Kalin continued, he invests in things people depend on, schools, clinics, food systems. He says real work doesn't need applause. He didn't write the word billionaire. He knew it. He just didn't like it. It felt too sharp for something his father carried so quietly. Across the room, Ms. Odilia Crane moved between desks. She was known for control, precision, results. Parents liked that she didn't tolerate nonsense. Administrators liked that she kept her class orderly. She stopped beside Kalin's desk. What are you writing about? She asked, glancing down. My dad, Kalin said. And what does he do? Her tone was neutral, but her eyes lingered longer than necessary. He builds businesses. He gives money to places that need it. Ms. Crane hummed softly. That's ambitious. Kalin frowned slightly. It's true. She smiled tightly. Finish your draft. As she walked away, something settled in her chest. Not anger, not concern, certainty. She had seen stories like this before. Children stretching truth to feel important. Wanting to be impressive in front of peers. She didn't say anything then. She didn't need to. The next day, Marowick Preparatory looked different. Folding chairs lined the walls, posters with professions decorated the halls. Parents filtered in with coffee cups and phones, smiling like this was something to document. Career Day always carried a hum of performance. Kalin's hands shook slightly as he held his paper. He hadn't told his father about the assignment. His father would have waved it off. You don't owe anyone explanations, he always said. Ms. Crane clapped her hands. Let's begin. Students read. Applause followed. Some parents laughed. Others nodded proudly. Then Ms. Crane called Kalin's name. He stood. My father believes success isn't about what people see, Kalin began. It's about what still works when no one is watching. That's enough. Her voice cut through the room like a snapped wire. Kalin stopped mid-sentence. What? Ms. Crane stepped forward, holding his paper now. This is inappropriate. A few parents leaned forward. Inappropriate how? Kalin asked, his voice small but steady. You're exaggerating, she said, and lying isn't acceptable. The word hit him harder than he expected. I'm not lying, he said. Ms. Crane sighed. Kalin, no one in this room believes your father is some hidden tycoon quietly funding institutions. A ripple of laughter moved through the audience, nervous, uncertain. My dad does help schools, Kalin said. He just doesn't talk about it. That's enough, she snapped. She tore the paper. The sound was unmistakable, sharp, public. Gasps followed. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." Ms. Crane placed the torn pages back into Kalin's hands. You'll go to the head administrator's office. We'll discuss honesty later. Kalin didn't move at first. His ears rang. His chest felt tight. I told the truth, he said again, quieter now. She didn't respond. He walked past desks, past staring faces, past adults who avoided his eyes. In the hallway, he sat alone on a bench, clutching the scraps like proof that had already failed him. A guidance aide named Mrs. Henlow approached and crouched beside him. Do you want some water? He nodded. She handed him a cup. Do you want to tell me what happened? They said I lied. And did you? She asked. No. She paused. That pause mattered. Inside the office, the head administrator, Mr. Halverson, skimmed Kalin's file. The family keeps to themselves, he said. Never attends donor events. No public presence. Quiet doesn't mean dishonest, Mrs. Henlow replied carefully. Outside the building, a slate-grey sedan pulled into the lot. A man stepped out, tall, unassuming, plain jacket, calm eyes. He looked at the school for a moment longer than necessary, as if bracing himself. Inside, Kalin stared at the floor. I shouldn't have written it, he whispered. The office door opened. Kalin. He looked up. Dad. Saurin Row crossed the room quickly and knelt in front of him. Are you hurt? Kalin shook his head. They said I lied. Saurin exhaled slowly. Did you? No. Then you did nothing wrong. Mr. Halverson entered, his expression shifting when he recognized the man. Mr. Row, this is unexpected. That's becoming a pattern, Saurin said evenly. Miss Crane was summoned. She entered with confidence still intact. I addressed a disruption. You humiliated my son, Saurin replied. I corrected dishonesty. You corrected a story you didn't believe, he said. Her jaw tightened. His claims were unrealistic. Unfamiliar isn't unrealistic, Saurin said. Kalin spoke up. I told you my dad helped schools. Ms. Crane looked at him. I didn't ask you to perform. Saurin placed his phone gently on the desk. You can verify anything you need to. Mr. Halverson stared at the screen. Ms. Crane's confidence cracked. You're Saurin Row, she said slowly. The Row Collective. Yes. Silence swallowed the room. And you live in a rented apartment, Saurin finished, because attention invites danger. Ms. Crane sat down. I thought, you assumed, Saurin said, and you chose authority over care. Kalin watched her face change, not fear, recognition. The weight of what she'd done finally landed. The room felt smaller, and the question returned, heavier now than ever. When the truth finally confronts power, what does accountability actually demand? If you're still watching at this point, pause for just a second. Like the video, subscribe, and stay with this story. Because what comes next is where denial ends and consequences begin. The silence didn't break right away. It lingered, heavy and uncomfortable, like everyone in the room was waiting for someone else to speak first. Ms. Crane was the one who finally did. I didn't know, she said quietly. Saurin Row didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. You didn't ask. Mr. Halverson cleared his throat. This is clearly a misunderstanding. No, Saurin said. It's a decision, and decisions have consequences. Kalin stood beside his father, the torn paper still folded in his hand. He hadn't let it go. Not because he thought it would fix anything, but because it reminded him that this had actually happened. Ms. Crane looked at him then, really looked. Kalin, she said slower now, I need you to understand that I was trying to maintain standards. Kalin's voice came out steadier than he expected. I just wanted you to listen. The words landed harder than shouting ever could. Mr. Halverson rubbed his temple. We should address this formally, he said, perhaps with the class present. Transparency is important. Ms. Crane stiffened. You want me to? I want the truth acknowledged, Saurin interrupted. Public harm requires public repair. They moved to the auditorium within the hour. Parents were called back. Teachers filed in, whispering. Students sat confused, sensing that something larger than a school day was unfolding. Kalin sat in the front row. His feet didn't reach the floor. Ms. Crane stood on the stage, the microphone too loud at first, feedback squealing before someone adjusted it. She took a breath, then another. I made a mistake, she said. The room went still. I accused a student of lying without listening. I allowed my assumptions to override my responsibility as an educator. Kalin felt his shoulders tighten, not from fear, from recognition. I humiliated him, she continued, and that harm cannot be undone with excuses. She turned slightly toward Kalin. I'm sorry. No applause followed. None was needed. Mr. Halverson stepped forward next. Effective immediately, Marowick Preparatory will be implementing mandatory training on bias, student advocacy, and accountability for all staff. Participation is not optional. A murmur ran through the room. We will also be revising our reporting policies to ensure students are heard before conclusions are drawn. Saurin remained seated. He didn't nod. He didn't smile. After the assembly, students were dismissed early. Parents gathered in clusters outside, voices low, expressions uncertain. Some looked at Kalin differently now, not with admiration, but discomfort, as if his truth had disrupted something they preferred untouched. A parent approached Saurin near the steps. "I didn't realize," she said. "We all make assumptions, I guess." Saurin met her gaze. "That's why they're dangerous." Outside, Kalin took a long breath. "Are you mad?" he asked. Saurin shook his head. "I'm tired. And disappointed, but not surprised. I thought maybe I shouldn't have written it," Kalin said. Saurin stopped walking and knelt in front of him again. "Listen to me. Never make your truth smaller to make someone else comfortable. Ever." Kalin nodded. The next few weeks felt different. Not magically better, just aware. Teachers asked more questions. Meetings stretched longer. Conversations that once ended quickly now lingered, uncomfortable but necessary. Ms. Crane took a leave of absence. When she returned, she didn't command the room the way she used to. She listened. She paused. She asked instead of declared. One afternoon, she stopped Kalin after class. "I'm leading one of the training sessions," she said. "I'm using what happened, with permission." Kalin studied her. "Are you telling the truth?" She nodded. "All of it." "That's good," he said. "It should be uncomfortable." She exhaled. "It is." A student group formed quietly at first. Kids met during lunch. They talked about times they weren't believed, times they were dismissed, times they were labeled before they were heard. They called it the quiet table. Kalin didn't create it, but he sat there often. One day, a younger girl whispered, "They said my grandmother couldn't be a civil engineer." Kalin looked at her. "Is she?" "Yes." "Then they're wrong." The story didn't spread online. There were no interviews. Saurin declined them all. He redirected attention to policy changes, to staff training, to student programs. Visibility, he believed, should follow responsibility, not the other way around. On the last day of school, Kalin emptied his desk. At the bottom, taped neatly together, was his assignment. Someone had fixed it. He smiled, not because it erased what happened, but because it no longer owned him. As he walked out, he passed the donor wall, names etched in metal. His father's name sat there quietly, unchanged. He didn't stop to read it. He already knew who his father was. And more importantly, he knew who he was. Because this was never a story about money, or influence, or status. It was a story about a moment when an adult was given a choice, to protect authority, or to protect a child. And how choosing wrong leaves scars no apology can erase. But choosing right, even late, can still change the direction of a life. If you stayed until the end, thank you. Stories like this matter because they happen more often than we admit. If you believe children deserve to be heard, believed and protected, like the video, subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. The question isn't whether this could happen again. It's whether next time someone will choose differently. And that choice might belong to you.